What's going on, guys? So we are about to take this 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRDPro amazing SUV on a nice driving evaluation. So something that's really cool and interesting is whenever you remote start it, which there's no dedicated remote start feature here, you basically press the lock button 3 times and then hold it on the third for about 5 seconds. Lights will start flashing, it'll start up. If you unlock it from the key fob, the engine will shut off. However, if you just go up to the vehicle and touch the inner door handle, it'll unlock, keep the engine running, so you can continue to let the engine run, which is kind of interesting because it's different, right? A lot of other vehicles, you remote start them, you simply press the unlock button, you can hop in and go by pressing the start. This one, if you try to unlock it from the remote key fob, it's going to shut the engine off. But we didn't do it that way. Instead, we're going to be opening it up with the handle. And then the minute you hit the brake, it wants to shut off. So, yeah, interesting the way this is set up. All right. We're going to get going. We were able to do some nighttime evaluation driving with it already, and the headlight output on this thing is absolutely insane. Plus, of course, you have your TRD light bar down here, which gives you a ton of light output. I have to say, so far, the one thing that's a little odd about it is just the fact that it's a hybrid, so the engine shuts on and off occasionally, and when it's running, it makes a pretty noticeable 4-cylinder droning noise. So right now you don't hear it, but we're going to put it in drive. It's quiet because it's in hybrid mode. But then the engine kicks on, and then you hear that very throaty 4-cylinder. Anyways, we're going to be on the road, see what it's all about. So we are now on the road in this 2025 Toyota 4Runner. This is the TRDPro edition. This thing is equipped with a iForce Max hybrid 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4. It's paired to an electronic motor and an 8-speed automatic transmission. So this package is going to produce 326 horsepower at around 6,000 RPMs combined. And combined is the hybrid system plus the gas engine. And from a torque perspective, 465 pound-feet of torque at approximately 1,700 RPMs. And again, that's combined with the hybrid system and the gas engine. So this is going to have a 4-wheel drive system, and it's also going to have a lot of really great off-road features like a locking rear diff and the anti-sway bar disconnect for the front. So you get a lot of good articulation if you're going to be going over crazy off-road environments, which we don't have here. But what we do have here is a beach, and the beach gives you a great opportunity to really evaluate how a vehicle's 4-wheel drive system works. So in the passenger seat, I have my absolutely beautiful wife, and she is going to give you her impressions as well on specifically how this rides in comparison to many of the other SUVs we've driven. We've been in a lot of 4-wheel drive vehicles, a lot of super aggressive off-road vehicles, as well as more road and highway-oriented vehicles like her Expedition, being a 2-wheel drive vehicle. We've been in GMC Denali's, we've been in Jeeps, we have been in just about everything. And you know, one thing that I love about bringing my wife into these review videos is the fact that she is going to give you a completely honest, unfiltered opinion on how this compares to some of the other vehicles she's been in. And to date, one of the best riding vehicles she's ever commented on is actually a Ram Limited pickup truck, which has always been a smooth riding vehicle, especially when it's coupled with the air suspension option. Now, this specific SUV is the super aggressive, super off-road capable version of a 4Runner. And if you're familiar with the 4Runner, the Toyota 4Runner has always been known to be a super off-road capable, very reliable family hauler that gives you a lot of room and flexibility. And it's really for those folks who love like the Toyota Tacoma but want an SUV because they want to carry their family around. Unfortunately, in this TRDPro package, you cannot get it with a 3rd row, but it's got a good bench 2nd row seat to it, and it's got a lot of great upgrades like Fox reservoir suspension up front or shocks up front, very, very TRD tuned. It has a really nice wide body stance to it, big aggressive tires, really, really aggressive paint job with some nice bold high gloss black accents. But let's talk about driving impressions. Let's talk about what this thing actually feels like on the road. And I'm going to let my wife have an opportunity to kind of chime in first. So how do you feel about how this handles, especially compared to like your Expedition, as well as maybe the Denali pickup truck we have, my F450, and some of the other vehicles that you've been in?
It's not too bad, actually. When we were going down that bumpy road back there, it took the bumps fairly well. It wasn't that rough. It wasn't as jarring. The one thing is it's a little loud, so you constantly hear that buzzing. Is that how you would explain it?
Well, if that's how you want to describe it, that's totally fine.
It's kind of like a whirring sound, constant.
Yeah, this is a 4-cylinder, right? It's not a V8, it's not a V6, it's a 4-cylinder, it's turbocharged, and it sounds like a 4-cylinder. They did not do anything to make this thing sound like a bigger engine than it is. But it's a little odd at times because the engine, like, it goes away when you're not hitting the throttle or when it's in hybrid mode, electric mode, but then it kicks on with a nice, I guess buzzing's a good way to describe it, but more of a droning sound maybe.
Yeah, it gets a little annoying after a while. It gets a little loud.
Yep, for sure. And that's probably my biggest gripe, personally, of this vehicle so far. I love a lot about it. It is a super, it looks like a toy from the outside.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Pretty looking.
It is, and it's pretty in an aggressive way, too. It's not just pretty, like, elegant pretty. Like Lexus is pretty, right? This is aggressive pretty. And...
sporty pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that droning sound, honestly, this is almost the type of SUV that, unless they're going to make up for it with some type of aftermarket sound that's not necessarily 4-cylinder sounding, it really should just be quiet, right? Let's just make this thing as quiet as possible. If somebody wants to add some type of performance TRD exhaust to it, they can do that. But in my opinion, so far, the only true thing I don't care for is that droning sound. Yeah. It's just not appealing to me, especially when you're in bigger vehicles. Like even your Expedition makes a pretty good sound when you accelerate, and that's largely because they modify the sound through the speakers to make it sound better.
Yeah, you can hear the wind noise quite a bit.
Yeah, you can. It's got a pretty flat windshield to it, and you can definitely hear a bit of that. What about the ride?
But I guess for a sporty car, I mean, you don't expect it to sound quiet and luxurious.
Yeah, some people would probably really love the way this sounds. But again, I don't run across a lot of folks who are like, man, I want to put a heck of a loud exhaust system on a 4-cylinder. That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, that said, what about from a ride characteristic? I know we went down a bumpy road she mentioned earlier. It's a super bumpy road. My F450 will make you probably need new teeth when you're done. Her Expedition isn't bad, but everything is bumpy on this road. How do you feel about this on that road compared to some of the other vehicles?
It wasn't too bad, actually. I expected it to be a pretty rough ride or very jarring, but it wasn't actually. It took the bumps very well.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting because we've had this for a couple days now, and the first couple trips we took out in it were on regular roads like this. They were nothing aggressive. And some of the smaller bumps you feel a little bit more than you think you should. Does that make sense, right?
Right.
You feel some of the bumps. So when we went down this other road that's really bumpy, we were a little worried that it would be a really harsh ride. But it actually seems to absorb the bigger bumps better than it absorbs the smaller bumps.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it does. That's fair.
And we'll really find out what's going on when you hit the beach out here. We haven't had any significant rain in a while, so the sand is probably pretty soft. This is kind of one of those scenarios that I don't like to really go out here when it's this soft unless I have a few recovery items, like maybe at least a strap or something like that, but we don't. But I've never gotten a loaner vehicle stuck in the sand ever. And furthermore, I've never gotten a Toyota even close to getting stuck. I remember we went out here in that Land Cruiser, if you recall, and we're passing by Jeeps and other vehicles that are going slower through the sand, and we were just kind of cruising on by them in this super soft sand. So we're now in a 4Runner, again, specifically tuned for this type of off-road environment, whether it's sand, whether it's mud, whether it's rocks, whether it's, a super aggressive climbs and descents. That's what this thing's made for. So we're gonna head out to the beach right now, get this thing on some pretty soft sand, and see if we can get it stuck. What do you think about that?
I don't want to get stuck.
Okay, well, we'll be back from the beach. Okay, so we're going to something a bit more aggressive, and you see a lot of people
Oh my gosh.
doing interesting things out here. Alright, that's interesting. You got some super soft stuff right here. Looks like some tow equipment too.
Somebody got towed out.
Yeah, yeah. This is where you go if you want to see if someone will tow you out. Oh, you can drive up there too, I think. Let's see what's going on down here a little further. So if you're not from this area, this pier that you see on the left was actually completely destroyed by, I think it wasn't Hurricane Harvey, it was a different hurricane. But it definitely put a hurting on it. And yeah, they're trying to get it all fixed up. Okay, this is soft. Gotta get some speed up here. And that was no problem at all. By the way, I got Buddy the dog in the back seat too, so we gotta be a little careful. He's gonna start freaking out.
I think he's afraid of the motor, the sound of it. He gets nervous with that sound.
He's working his way up here now. How did that feel?
It felt good. I mean, it was okay. It's not a bumpy ride.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not. I mean, you're not bouncing around. I guess bouncy ride. It's not a bouncy ride.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like that.
Okay, this is super soft stuff right here.
Oh, yeah, this is soft.
One of the things about sand, if you're not going to air your tires down, is to just keep momentum, keep forward speed going. The minute you start to slow down too much, you really risk getting stuck and bottoming out. This is real soft right here. You can always tell when the vehicle wants to shift up, but you're going the same speed that you're going through something soft. No problem at all. Okay, so I didn't shift out of normal mode, so we're going to put this thing in, I guess sport mode's fine.
If you hear something panting, that's Buddy. He's right next to me.
Yeah, he's right next to the microphone.
Yeah, he's looking at Mama like, help me.
Yeah, so you might see a lot of vehicles on the left here that seem pretty non-off-road, and that's mainly because you can stay on the hard pack stuff, but when you get on the soft stuff like this, you definitely need a vehicle that is a little bit more designed for it.
It's taking it very well.
It is.
A little sliding, but hardly.
Yep. Now I put it in manual mode, mainly because if you probably could hear on the microphone, it was wanting to shift up occasionally and it would drop down to a low gear, but in manual mode, I can kind of hold it in the speed that I want. And then I can shift up a little bit if I want to drop to a lower gear. And that's really the only reason I think having manual mode on a vehicle like this is important, because if you're going in an area where you just don't want it to constantly be hunting for a gear, you want it to stick in a low gear that's powerful and continues to spin. That's really what you would use this for. Looks like there's a truck that might be stuck right there.
Uh-oh. I don't want that to be us.
No, that won't be us.
Oh, yeah.
Is he stuck? I
No
can't tell what he's doing.
He
looks like he might be stuck.
Yeah, he's stuck.
But I don't have any recovery gear to help that poor guy out.
Yeah. He's stuck.
But I could definitely get through this. That's probably what he tried to do unsuccessfully. But I can even probably go back up this too if I want.
Hang on, buddy.
And yeah, Buddy's actually having a pretty good time. I just think he's more worried about the sound of the engine than anything.
Yeah, he doesn't like that kind of sound.
Okay, I can't see my mirror, buddy. Gotta move out of my way. See, this is the kind of bump that you like to feel with these because it really moves the vehicle up and down a lot. And you're not going to see a lot of this on camera, but trust me, the vehicle's moving around a lot. I heard that guy.
What did he say?
He was like, oh my gosh, look at that. All right, so my wife volunteered to step out into the dusty sand and filmed the 4Runner in its kind of natural environment. I'm going to tell you from the inside of the 4Runner, it feels like you're going through like some crazy hard, deep obstacles and sand, and you probably saw there's a truck that was stuck, and I felt really bad because I think they probably thought we were like rubbing it in since we were going into that area, but it just happened to be the deepest area. And again, I have no recovery equipment, or I'd be happy to help recover them. All that said, yeah, this thing handled everything like a champ, like stuff that other vehicles, or let's just say lesser vehicles in terms of four-wheel prowess, their ability to go over and through four-wheel drive required objects, could have handled. And it's just really a testimony to how Toyota designs and engineers their four-wheel drive system to be able to transfer grip where it needs to be be able to get you out of certain environments. And this thing handles exceptionally well, just like every Toyota vehicle with an advanced four-wheel drive system we've reviewed, whether it's a Land Cruiser, whether it's a previous, TRDPro, whether it's a Tacoma or a Tundra. They just seem to take it really well. But what did it look like when you were filming it from the outside?
It was too easy. It looked like it was just gliding on by. Yep. No struggle at all.
Buddy would disagree with you. He was in the back kind of wondering what the heck is going on.
And it's not too crazy bouncy in the truck as you're going through it. It's a little, of course, bouncy, but it's not as stiff, I guess. It took it very well.
Yep.
And smooth.
Yep.
It just kind of went right through it like nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty actually pretty remarkable how capable these things are. And I think most people know it. I'm not teaching people anything that they don't already know. I think almost anybody could look at a 4Runner and say, that's the vehicle I want to be in. If it has to be a stock vehicle, I mean, I know this is a TRDPro, but if it has to be a vehicle off of a dealership lot, there's only a handful of vehicles people can absolutely point to and say, that's the type of vehicle I would want in the worst of scenarios. I think a 4Runner's one of them. I think a Raptor's probably one of them. I think, the TRX, or now I guess the RHX. But there are a lot of really, really great off-road capable vehicles. But when you look at the four-wheel drive family from Toyota, most people automatically know it's a super, super capable vehicle. So it takes some pretty crazy extreme terrain in order to really stress out the four-wheel drive system on a Toyota. And that's just speaks volumes, because that's a reputation they've built. It's not one that I'm giving it. It's one that they've built. And did you at any point, I know it was bumpy in a few areas, but did you at any point feel like we're in the wrong vehicle for this?
No, not at all. It was going through it like butter. I didn't feel like we were going to get stuck at all.
Yep, and that's just capable confidence. And like if we were in my F450, would you feel the same way?
No.
No.
Only because it's heavier and I feel like it's going to sink.
Yep, and it's not really four-wheel drive looking, right? It's four-wheel drive, but it doesn't look like it's the type of vehicle you would take through that. Would you feel confident in the Denali? I wouldn't. The Denali sits too low.
No, definitely not. And this one, as we were going through it, it never stalled. It wasn't sliding around a lot. It just kind of kept going.
Yep. It just feels confident.
Yeah.
It's a confident, inspiring ride. And, a bug-out vehicle, right? All of a sudden, the ZA happens, zombie apocalypse, for those of you who aren't geeks like me. Mm-hmm. And you have to evacuate in one of your vehicles in the driveway, and you're going to have to go through some crazy, crazy stuff to get out. What vehicle would you pick?
This one for sure.
The 4Runner, especially in a TRDPro, because it might be a little loud, so that might be a bad thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's a heck of a capable vehicle.
Yeah, it'll give you away the sound.
Yep.
They'll find you.
As you all can tell, it's getting dark outside, and these headlights, as phenomenal as they are, we'd rather get home. But I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can actually see a little bit more of what the actual headlights look like. They're super, super bright. On a better camera that gives you better nighttime visibility, you can see they actually illuminate a huge, huge, huge swath. Very, very nice sharp cutoff line. Super bright high beams. That TRD light bar up front is insane. I can probably zoom out a little bit there. There you go. So this is kind of a good idea of what I see. It's just super bright. It lights up a large swath, especially if you're going to be out on the island, because there's no lights on the beach. So having good headlights is pretty critical. That said, we're going to wrap this video up. We put it through what we wanted to, and at the end of the day, how do you rank it? What do you think from a pure ride comfort on the road?
On the road, it's not bad at all. It's it's not a luxurious, smooth, floating ride, but it's not jarring. It's not bouncing. It's pretty good considering it's made for rough terrain.
Yep, and sometimes that goes hand in hand because you get really plush suspension designed to be able to swallow up some of those big bumps that we were hitting.
Yeah.
And that equates to sometimes a better on-road ride. But I can tell you, over the small stuff, it feels rough, right? Over the real small bumps.
Yeah, like a little bumpy, right?
Yeah.
But not crazy though.
Yeah, more firm than anything.
Right.
Yep. And then what about seat comfort?
They're pretty comfortable. A little firm.
Yeah.
But they're pretty comfortable.
Yep. Another characteristic you kind of see in like four-wheel drive off-road vehicles is more firm seat to support you when you're hitting those bumps, so you're not constantly bouncing in your seat. But I think the number one critique, and I'm not even going to say it, but what would you say the number one critique that you have about this vehicle?
The sound of the exhaust. It's a little loud.
That is absolutely the same critique I have. I love everything about this. Other than the fact that it doesn't automatically come with a navigation subscription. That's kind of weird. I want to hit navigation, pop a map up on the screen, and it says I have to go through the kind of the registration process to get going. I don't know what's going on with this car in front of me. But the sound, that's really what it comes down to. I could absolutely do without the sound this engine makes.
Yeah.
It's not appealing to me. I would not want to be in this for a long period of time if this is the sound that I heard constantly on the highway. If they could change the way that sounds from the interior, then they would absolutely have a home run vehicle here, because this is a great looking vehicle. It looks super nice, especially in this weird color. It's actually called Mud Bath.
It's a nice color. I like it. I like the combination.
Unless your color's not Mud Bath, but it happens to look like this when you're done off-roading.
Yeah, the color combination's nice. It looks very nice, sporty. I like it.
Almost $80,000. How do you feel about that?
I think it's worth the price. I mean, considering it can go just through any rough terrain easily.
Yeah, loaded with tech, huge screen. I mean,
Yeah.
12-inch screen, has a full LCD gauge cluster display, heated, cooled seats, locking rear diff, front sway bar disconnect. You got all the features, all the comfort. No massaging seats. That would be kind of cool if they had it, but that's typically more of like a pure luxury package. You do have memory seats, so that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have a rear view camera mirror, which is nice. But aside from that, you know, it's kind of on par for what you're going to pay. A lot of people would be like, a 4Runner, $80,000 or upwards of 80. No, thank you. But shoot, every car is expensive now. You know, to say that a 4Runner approaches that price, I don't think is that unheard of, when, you know, almost any car is in the mid-50s now, even for a base model car.
Right. Well, and this has a tow package, so.
This does, yeah. And, you know, thank you for reminding me. Has a trailer brake controller on it, too. 6,000 pounds tow capacity, which is 1,000 pounds more than the predecessor. But to have a trailer brake controller built into it, that is really nice. And this is going to give you some capability of towing those small travel trailers that some people are going to arguably want to tow with something like this. Any final thoughts?
No, I like it. It's a nice toy.
It really is.
Nice toy to go play on the beach.
Absolutely. Or just about anywhere else you'd want to play with.
Or the apocalypse, like you say.
Yep. Anyways, I so appreciate you guys for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the dual commentary between me and my wife driving this thing. And got to thank her, because she was a champ getting out and filming this thing while we were driving it down the beach. Guys, sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
See you guys later.